The revolution is underway here in New England. However, we didn't quite get off to the start that we were hoping for, losing 3-2 to DC United in our opening fixture. New manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's new innovative system showed some promise going forward. Thomas Chonkalai, Giacomo Vrioni, and new signing Luciano Rodriguez all looking threatening, but the backline was left exposed on one too many occasions, and the Revs fans who entered the season with hope in their hearts were ultimately left disappointed. Solskjaer has made some subtle but hopefully impactful changes to his tactics, however, moving his pacey defensive line a little higher up the field and using each of his fullbacks a little more conservatively. So Revs fans will be hoping those changes pay dividends over the month of March. We've got 4 games to get to in this one, starting with our featured game at home against Toronto. I'll then show you highlights of our away fixture against Atlanta United. We'll quick sim FC Cincinnati, and then we'll round things out with highlights of our game at home against Chicago Fire. But before we get into those matches, I've got one correction to issue and one update to share. Firstly, we're in a slightly better salary situation than we initially thought, as I counted the salaries of our 3 designated players towards our total salary, which took us up to a little over 5 million. The salaries of our designated players, though, obviously don't count towards the cap, so our total salaries for this year currently stands at 3.73 million. Secondly, we'll also be featuring some games from the MLS Next Pro League from time to time over the course of the series. The Next Pro League will give our young players on the fringe of the first team an opportunity to gain some valuable game time, and it will give us a chance to keep a close eye on the development of the players that we select in the MLS SuperDraft. Second round rookie Kai Whitehead started in Revolution 2's opening fixture of the season against Charlotte FC, whilst Elliot Newton made a substitute appearance off the bench. First round rookie Tyler Dean did not make an appearance, but that's because he's going to be making his MLS debut here today against Toronto FC. Toronto FC are going to line up in a 3-4-2-1 formation, and it does appear as though they're going to defend with a low block and surrender possession, so we could potentially get our feet on the ball a little bit more often in today's game. And whilst I again don't recognize too many players in the starting 11, one man clearly stands out, and that is Lorenzo Insigne. We're going to have our hands full trying to keep him contained today, but if we can do that, I do fancy us to come away with a win. Outside of the change at goalkeeper, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes with the same starting 11 that featured against DC United, a back 4 of Brandon By, Phil Neumann, Kessler and Jones. Maloney starts alongside Hill in midfield. Nacho Hill and Thomas Chonkalai will be the wide men. Rodriguez and Vrioni will start up front. So without further ado, let's head over to Gillette Stadium and see if we can get our first win of the season in front of the home fans. So we are up in the commentary box for our first home fixture of the season. Toronto FC should be pretty difficult opponents, especially with Lorenzo Insigne in the side. However, like I said, I think if we can keep him contained, then we're going to have a good chance of getting a result here, as Thomas Chonkalai immediately finds himself in an extremely advanced position. And it is Chonkalai. I was corrected, I don't think in the comments, maybe in the Discord. And it is not Chonkalai, it is Chonkalai. So we've got that one right at the very least. A couple of other players we still need to learn how to pronounce. Giacomo Vrioni is another one. Leonard Maloney. Balls to Rodriguez, he puts it wide. Chance within 5 minutes. And the new signing Luciano Rodriguez, with the goal at his mercy, pokes the ball wide. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can't believe it. What a good start to the season in front of the home fans that would have been for the new boy Rodriguez. He's looked dangerous, to be fair. Pacey, technical, lots of flair. But the finishing in front of goal does seem to be what needs the most work. Brioni once more. Can he finish? No. Blocked by the Toronto defender. But they are setting up deep, as the scouting report led us to believe. And already it does look like we're going to have more success in this game than we did against DC. I have made some slight changes to the tactics and player instructions. Nothing drastic by any means. We're still going out in the same formation, the same overall tactical vision and approach to the game. But we've just tweaked a couple of things here and there. What a save that is from first round rookie Tyler Dean. Immediately called into action 10 minutes into the game, or within 10 minutes. And he shows exactly why we drafted him with the #1 overall pick in the MLS SuperDraft. Diving away to his left-hand side, that easily could have been a goal. And we saw Revs concede a similar goal in the last episode. That's got to be cleared away. And Brioni does look clear away for a Toronto throw. I wasn't sure when Tyler Dean would make an appearance this season. Revs had a fine game against DC, but he did make a mistake or two. He made a couple of good saves as well, but there was one or two mistakes in there. And Toronto once more into the box, stood up by Kessler. Good defending, good strong defending. Carles Heel back in the box to defend as well. Blocked by Jones, and again eventually hooked away for another Toronto throw-in. Tyler Dean is only 3 overall lower than Revs at this stage, and is obviously much younger. He obviously has a much higher ceiling. Good challenge. So, in something of a transition year this season, I think it's best to give Tyler Dean the start as early as possible. Nacho Hill just about keeps it in and then plays it directly out of play. Looking for Brandon Bye on the right-hand side. I think it's best to get Tyler Dean playing, get that development going. By the end of the season, really probably by the midway point of the season, he will be as good in terms of overall as Revs. You could also argue, even though he is 3 overall lower, you could argue that his spread of attributes is slightly better. What a save that is, Tyler Dean! And into the side netting. 2 incredible saves early in this game from the rookie goalkeeper. That one looks like... oh, that was the one that did go wide. I don't think the one that he parried away, diving this time to his right-hand side, was going wide. I think that would have nestled into the far corner if he hadn't have got there. But Toronto, after our bright start, have very much grown into this game. Chonkalai, Rodriguez, Nacho Hill on the far side, brings it down on his thigh, strikes towards goal and blocked. I really like leaving 3 players up. It's not really an approach that I've taken at any point in FC 24. I almost invariably play with just 1 striker. And if I do play with 2 strikers, Brioni can't win it. If I do play with 2 strikers, I rarely keep them both up. Chunkalai towards goal. Maybe had a bit more time than he realised. Maybe could have taken that down on his chest and struck towards goal with his right foot. Went with the header. If I do play 2 strikers, I rarely keep them both up. And I certainly don't keep a 3rd player up in addition to those 2 strikers. But I really like the approach. Oh dear. Jones. Parried away again by Tyler Dean, but we are not helping our young goalkeeper out by any means, and he's furious. Really lacks play at the back by Jones. But another really good save by Tyler Dean. I think we made exactly the right choice by grabbing Tyler Dean in the draft. There were other players who definitely looked enticing and who I wouldn't have been too disappointed if we ended up with. But to be fair, I think goalkeeper is probably the most pressing team need out of those at the top of the draft. There was a left back, Jones is good. There was a left winger or a centre attacking midfielder potentially. But again, we're relatively strong in those areas. Tyler Dean, I think, is the one prospect at the top of the first round who, as we are seeing here, can come in and start immediately. Chonkalai in off the left-hand side. Carlos Hill strikes with his left foot. Pulls it wide. It's coming, though. It is coming. It's a promising start to the game. Chances for both sides, and if we can tighten up a little bit at the back and keep creating these opportunities, I think we're going to have a fantastic chance of putting our first 3 points on the board. Well won, Phil Neumann. There's Nacho Heel. Chonkalai again in just acres of space. And that's where I think we're going to be able to cause Toronto some real issues. Because they're playing that 3-4-2-1 formation. And they have the, you know, the wide wing backs really. We are going to be able to drop those balls into Chonkalai and to a lesser extent Nacho Hill all game long, I think. Brioni lays it off. Again, Nacho Hill on the edge of the box. The layoff from Brioni wasn't ideal. We had a real opportunity there just to lay the ball off, set it for Nacho Hill and get a shot away at goal. But the pass from Vrioni kind of looped up into the air a little, but again, there's space in the wide positions. Vrioni again with a chance to drive at the Toronto back line. Nacho Hill once more. Just hold on to it for now as Brandon Bai arrives in support. Giacomo Vrioni. He's not quite going to get a shot away. We are enjoying a lot of possession in dangerous areas though. Toronto, however, away on the left-hand side. Neumann there to slow down the attack. But the danger's still not clear. Brandon Bai having to come across to cover. That just leaves the wide man free for Toronto though. Good block by Neumann. And again, we can clear away. Out for a Toronto throw, but that will do. Half an hour into the game, still all level. As Toronto look to change that. Nicely worked. We gave up a lot of possession on the edge of our box against DC. What an intervention that is from Kessler. And I think we do need to step up a little as Vrioni is fouled. I think we do need to step up a little. That will be the last, maybe not the last, but I think that will be the next change that we need to make to the tactics. Will be to raise the defensive depth a little. Carlos Hill finds the run of Leonard Maloney, shoots from range, parried away. We will retain possession though through Brioni and Nacho Hill. Bai into the box, Rodriguez does get his first goal for the Revolution. Clinical finish with his head. And that's what he wants to hear, the roar of the home fans. Really good ball in by Brandon Bai. Just picks Rodriguez out at the back post. Vrioni wanted in. He's already got his first goal of the season. He wanted his second. But despite the collision between the two Revolution strikers, Rodriguez still able to finish in the far corner. Really poor defending in the box from Toronto. We had two strikers, each of which could have had a free header. But it is Luciano Rodriguez who gets his head to the ball. And 36 minutes into the game, we do have the lead. And as we said, if we can tighten up at the back, then our fancy is to not only hold on to that lead, but to extend it as well. Jones finds Chonkalai. Rodriguez once more. He cuts inside. Just about skips away from the Toronto defenders. Fires across goal. Again parried away and kept in play. I thought that was going out for a corner comfortably. But Nacho Hill retains possession. Carles Hill. Brioni once more. Oh, and we needed Nacho on the overlap there, but he went inside. Rodriguez steals the ball away though. Twisting and turning, trying to find space to cross. Instead he finds Nacho Hill on the edge of the box. Gets a shot away with his left foot, but again blocked. We've just not quite been quick enough to get the ball out of our feet and get those shots away on the edge of the box here in this first half. What a good challenge that is by Neumann. Fantastic. Chonkale. Nacho Hill again in space. Has he just overhit the pass? Though he has. Those areas of the field are wide open. However, no real fullback to stand in there and mark the likes of Nacho Hill and Thomas Chonkale. And we do need to try and exploit that as this game continues. Brandon Bai beaten initially, recovers just about. Neumann again, good defensive work on the edge of the box. Nacho this time beaten. Neumann there once more. Gets a foot in. Still, somehow, the Toronto striker gets the shot away. And again parried away by Tyler Dean at the near post. We've seen very little of Lorenzo Insigne in this first half, which I am not mad about at all. That's got to be cleared away. Good header, Brandon Bai. Dangerous header challenging the Toronto man. And Toronto looking to grab an equaliser at the end of this first half. And there's Insigne. There's Insigne. That's what he can do. He's been quiet for 45 minutes. All he's needed is 30 seconds to level the scoring. Neumann for once gets beaten. I mean, it was really nice feet and a really quick turn from Insigne. Tyler Dean came out, made himself big. Couldn't quite smother the shot. And that's Insigne's second goal of this season already. And we are going to have to rally here in the second half by the looks of things. So I don't think we're going to get a final opportunity in this first period. I mean, we'll loft the ball into the box for Rodriguez, who brings it down and fires towards goal. Vrioni does the same. Chonkale still with the ball at his feet. And there was almost a foul in there. The shot flashes wide from Thomas Chonkale. But it is going to be level at half-time. Really shouldn't be. Because I would say we've been... I mean, the chances have been fairly evenly spread, to be fair. I was going to say, I think we've comfortably been the better team. It's probably a little bit harsh on Toronto. It has been a fairly even game. And the match facts do reflect that. But again, we've just done far more in possession than they have. So back out for the second half here at Gillette Stadium. And we have raised that defensive depth slightly. We can afford to do that because we do have pace at the back. Brandon Bai, Duan Jones, Phil Neumann, all are very pacey. And even Kessler is not the slowest. As Rodriguez cuts in from that left-hand side, gets the shot away. Saved excellently by the Toronto goalkeeper, who is back up on his feet immediately to smother the second opportunity from Vrioni. But a really bright start to this second half. And I really want to come away with all 3 points here. I feel like the game is there for the taking. Headed clear from the corner by Toronto and the second ball. Hill tries to retain possession but can't. And Jones does well just to delay the quick counter-attack from Toronto. Is going to have to do the same again here, though, and he has done exactly that. Maloney, he's been quiet today. He does find Brandon Bai on the right-hand side. Into the feet of Carlos Hill. He'll just find Duan Jones now. Space to run for Jones. Space for Maloney as well. Space also for Nacho on this far side, who's going to cut inside. Strikes with his left foot. Just wide. That cannot have been far wide. The goalkeeper would not have got there. And it's going to be a change for Toronto early here in this second half as Bernadeschi comes on. But if that was on target, that strike from Nacho Hill, I mean, the goalkeeper obviously wouldn't have got there because he didn't even dive. But that must have been extremely close. Good challenge, Kessler. Carles Heel finds Chonkalai. Heel again in space on this right-hand side. And he'll drive at the Toronto defence. Leonard Maloney again in space on the edge of the box. Good save from the goalkeeper. And Vrioni puts it into the side net. Another really good save. The goal at Vrioni's mercy this time. But like Rodriguez in the first half, he can't turn the ball into the back of the net. And instead hits the side netting. We really should be in the lead again here in this second half. Created a number of excellent opportunities already. Vrioni. Rodriguez through the middle. Another excellent opportunity. Makes no mistake. Doubles his tally for the game. Doubles the lead. No, doesn't double the lead. Regains the lead for New England. And that's exactly the kind of partnership we need to see up front. We said in episode 1 we need to find the Robin to Vrioni's Batman. And it looks as though we have done exactly that. Linking up really nicely the two front men. And it has been coming here in the second half. It was a very, very even first half, but we have dominated Toronto here in the second period. And they will make another change. So 2 changes within the first 10 minutes for Toronto. And I want another goal. I do want to double the lead. I don't feel comfortable with just a 1-goal lead. With Insigne up front, I mean, we saw in the first half. All he needs is a second to change the game. And we'll play on ref. Thank you very much. Nacho Hill. Can't quite find Rodriguez in the box. He's looking for a hat-trick. Brandon By strikes from range. Blocked again by Toronto. Nacho Hill tries to put the cross in, but again blocked by Toronto, this time with a hand. And we will hold off on the changes just for now. Because we are... I don't want to disrupt the flow and the momentum that we've built in these opening 15 minutes or so of the second half. We're playing very, very well. I don't see a need to make any changes just yet. But Carles Hill currently lining up to take this. I think I will switch to Chonkalai though, because I would rather a right footer here. Good ball in. Carles Hill in the box. Not really the ideal target in the air. Vrioni finds Maloney. Again parried away by the goalkeeper. Maloney has been taking up some excellent positions on the edge of the box. He's had a number of opportunities from range. He may well grab his first goal of the season here today at some point, based on what we've seen so far. Nodded clear by Toronto. Nacho Hill absolutely clobbered. And Luciano Rodriguez again in the box, but can't win the header. Jones for New England. Again, it's a loose pass. It's been a couple of those from Jones today. We had Chonkalai in space on that left-hand side. And that's a fantastic pass from Toronto. Brandon By does well to stop the cross. He's going to have to do so again here. Nacho Hill has picked up an injury, but he is still tracking back to do his defensive duties. Insigne changes the game again. What did we say? And it's a substitute for Toronto. He draws them level. We have done a good job of containing Insigne for the most part, but it's just 2 moments. This time, creating the goal rather than scoring it. And again, Tyler Dean almost makes the save, but can't quite. And again, we're going to have to find the lead.
Goal, Toronto FC, number 22.
Jones this time does find Chonkalai again in space on this left-hand side. This time he cuts in, gives the ball away. Poor. We really need to sort things out defensively, because we have looked excellent going forward. And I mean, Insigne is a player who can, as we have seen, change a game. So I don't think we can feel too disappointed in our defensive display. Rodriguez brings it down on his left foot. No! Referee gives a free kick to Toronto for handball. Just as Rodriguez was getting ready to strike across goal. Toronto will make another change. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer fixing to make a change here as well. And we are going to make the same change that we made in episode 1. It worked in episode 1. Bobby Wood came on and scored a late goal. But Nacho Hill to make way. That means Rodriguez is going to move out to that left wing position where Chonkalai was previously. Chonkalai going to move to right midfield in Nacho Hill's former position. So that should give us a bit more attacking threat as we move into the last half an hour or so of the game. Toronto, though, looking to find a winner themselves. Again, good defending, protecting our penalty area well. Kessler can't make the challenge, though. Dewan Jones makes the block. But out for a Toronto corner, which we are going to have to defend. Deep into the box, one at the back post by Toronto. But thankfully the header off target. And it is going to be a New England goal kick. Dewan Jones on this left-hand side finds Maloney. He finds Rodriguez in space with an opportunity to run at the Toronto back line. There's Carles Heel in space to shoot. Headed clear by the Toronto man. And a bit of aerial pinball in midfield. And it eventually falls to a Toronto man. Again, another injury, this time to Phil Neumann, which would not be ideal. We don't have a great deal of depth in defence. Do have Farrell on the bench, who we could bring on for today. But one of the reasons we brought in Neumann was because our back line wasn't particularly strong. Leonard Maloney, of course, can drop into the back line as well, but he's made the challenge there. And Frioni is away on the right-hand side, and he is onside. Rodriguez finds him. Frioni cuts in, finds Chonkalai, who finishes. What a finish. Fantastic breakaway. Our three forward players again combining. Rodriguez plays the ball in behind for Frioni to chase. Frioni gets there, cuts inside onto his left foot. Does not fire a shot at goal, though. Again, or rather instead, finds Thomas Chonkalai. Fantastic little half turn. Gets the ball onto his left foot. Fires across the goalkeeper, who has had a very good game today, but can't stop that one. There is absolutely no stopping that one. And again, we have the lead. We lost 3-2 in our opening game. We are edging towards a 3-2 victory here at home. And we need to hold on to this lead for the duration of this game now. We haven't managed to do it on two separate occasions in the game so far. Chonkalai can't quite make the challenge. Good intervention. Phil Neumann can't clear, though, but does hook away on the second time of asking. And I'm not sure if his injury designation has now disappeared, so potentially Phil Neumann has managed to run off that injury. Kessler clears. Rodriguez can't quite find the ball. Giacomo Vrioni, we anticipated being our main source of goals this season, and of course he did score in the opener, but he has turned provider today. 2 assists on the day for him, as Toronto again press for this equaliser. Neumann has indeed managed to run off that injury, but Tyler Dean collects comfortably. I think we'll be making another change or two next time the ball goes out of play. Rodriguez, though, first on this left-hand side, will carry the ball forward. Big switcher play is on. Chonkalai can't win the header, though. And he can almost win the ball back high up the field, but not quite. I'm going to have to drop into a defensive game plan here, I think, because we are still committing too many players forward. Toronto take the throw too quickly to allow us to make a change. And we are just going to have to try and see out these remaining 5-10 minutes or so. Brandon Bye, can he get there? I mean, he can get there, but the challenge was a really weak one. Maloney. What is that, Maloney? You've got to put more on it. But Carles Heel, can he find Rodriguez in space on the right-hand side? Yes, he can. Brandon Bye on the overlap. Rodriguez just cuts inside, though. He still wants a hat-trick. Lays it off instead to Thomas Chonkalai. Into the feet of Carles Heel. He turns the ball towards goal, but again blocked by Toronto. Was that Brandon Bye, man of the match, I just heard announced? How on earth can that be the case? He's been really underwhelming at right back. My vote would certainly go to Brioni. Maybe even Tyler Dean, who's had a very good performance in goal on his debut. And he's going to potentially need to make another big save here. Instead, we get the block in. Duan Jones clears. Brioni challenges but can't win it. We'll take the free kick, please, ref. It's actually Toronto's advantage. 4 minutes of added time. The home crowd want the whistle right now. Jones can't make the challenge. Insigne again in the box, but it's Bobby Wood back in his own penalty area making the intervention. And Thomas Chonkalai can just carry the ball upfield. And hopefully waste these last couple of minutes. Duan Jones high up the pitch, but he's taken away the options for the Toronto man, taking the throw, so we don't mind it too much. And Chonkalai can drop into cover. A little bit all over the place in these last couple of minutes. Haven't even had a chance to make our final substitutions of the game. Brandon Bye again fails to make the challenge. Kessler comes across. Neumann clears. Kessler on the second opportunity. Heads the ball away. Bobby Wood carries it clear of danger, and we do come away with a victory. Made it a little harder for ourselves than I would have liked. But Chonkalai with the winner, Frioni with a fantastic performance up front, Rodriguez with 2 goals. We've got it sussed going forward. We know what we're doing in terms of attack. We look excellent when we have possession. We need to sort things out a little bit defensively, however. So again, it's not going to be back to the drawing board exactly, but it is going to be a case of tweaking those tactics as we go forward. So a narrow victory, but a victory nonetheless. Toronto looked good. Lorenzo Insigne looked excellent, as the scout report would have suggested, and as we would have anticipated. He was the real difference maker for Toronto. But we do manage to put our first 3 points on the board, and that does lift us all the way up to 8th position in the Eastern Conference. So we have 3 additional games to get to this month. Highlights of our away fixture against Atlanta. We will quick sim FC Cincinnati, and then we'll be seeing highlights of Chicago Fire at Gillette Stadium at the end of the episode as well. Atlanta, one of the better sides in the conference at the very least going forwards. Thiago Almada should probably be as difficult to contain as Insigne. Giakoumakis up front should prove to be an issue as well. And with such little depth in the side, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has very few options at his disposal in terms of changes to the starting 11. Farrell does come in to the back 4, however. Barrero comes in at right midfield. Tyler Dean keeps his place in goal. Other than that, the starting 11 remains the same as in the opening 2 fixtures. We got off to the brightest start in this one. Giacomo Vrioni bursting away down the left-hand side and forcing the Atlanta goalkeeper into an early save. And it was then Thomas Chonkalai who found himself completely unmarked at the back post. The goalkeeper would have had no chance with this one, but unfortunately Chonkalai hit the post rather than finding the back of the net. Atlanta grew into the game though and started to create opportunities of their own. First round rookie Tyler Dean had another excellent first half though, making a number of very good saves. This one he made from almost point blank range as Atlanta managed to work the ball into the penalty area after a short corner. They pulled it back across the 6-yard box, fired with the left foot across goal, but really good reaction stop. Atlanta did find the back of the net about half an hour into the game though. Tyler Dean again making a fantastic save after a free header in the 6-yard area. Mosquera was first to the ball though, tapped it into an empty net. But Atlanta wouldn't have the lead for long. About 4 minutes later, Barrera burst into the box, pulled it back for Carles Heel, and he managed to get his first goal of the season, tucking it in at the near post. And the captain actually put us ahead just before half time as well. A rare penalty. I think it might be my third of the entire year, but a clinical penalty sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. He wouldn't have got there anyway as it goes in off the post. And Dylan Barrera had a chance to double our lead just after half time, but his shot flashed over from just inside the penalty area. Probably had a bit more time than he thought. And although we did set up defensively, we tried to see the second half out. We're just not a team that's really built to do that. And Atlanta did manage to grab an equalizer late in the game. So disappointing that we weren't able to come away with the victory, but a point away from home against Atlanta is a decent result. And it was another closely fought fixture against FC Cincinnati in the quick sim. Vrioni scored 10 minutes from time to give us the win, which does bring us to our fourth and final game of the episode against Chicago Fire. Seems as if every MLS side has at least one recognizable player, and often a player that used to play in the Premier League. Chicago Fire has Xherdan Shaqiri in the number 10 role in that regard, whereas Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a handful of changes for this particular matchup. Lima comes in at right back, Farrell at centre back partners Kessler, who captains the side today. In Carles Hill's absence, Noel Buck comes into midfield to replace him. I thought Chicago might prove to be our weakest opposition in today's episode, but they surprised me getting off to a really quick start. And again, we had to rely on first round rookie goalkeeper Tyler Dean to keep us in it early. Made a number of good saves in the first half, parrying away ahead of first, and then this one diving away to his left-hand side. Whereas we struggled to create any clear-cut opportunities. This header from long range from Chunkalai, one of the only chances we could muster. And then Chicago really did take us by surprise, opening the scoring 15 minutes into the game. A really clinical finish by Kuipers inside the penalty area, but he was given far too much time and space. We did switch on after that though. Chunkalai putting a ball into the box where Vrioni met it. The goalkeeper had come to claim, didn't get anywhere near it, but unfortunately Vrioni's header went back across goal and past the post rather than nestling into the back of the net. And again, our forward players were linking up really well. Nacho Hill picking out Chunkalai on the far side of the field. He laid it off to Rodriguez on the edge of the box. He couldn't quite wrap his foot around it and his shot ended up flashing wide. So we did go into the halftime break 1-0 down, but immediately after, Leonard Maloney's sliding tackle won the ball back. Vrioni broke away all alone in the penalty area and tucked the ball neatly past the goalkeeper. And once we did level the scoring, we really grew into the game. Maloney linking up with Vrioni this time. A left-footed shot that the goalkeeper was worried about, but again, unfortunately, narrowly wide of the post. And it was a back and forth second half. Chicago Fire creating opportunities of their own, but Tyler Dean, again, what a first-round selection he's proven to be. A fantastic point-blank reaction save, kept things level, which set the stage for Vrioni to win it all at the very end. Maloney finds Chunkalai on the left-hand side. He whips a delicious ball into the box, and a diving header for Vrioni leaves the Chicago goalkeeper helpless. So the players celebrate, the fans go wild, and we do run out 2-1 winners just moments from the end of the game. So an excellent way to finish the episode as we go unbeaten in the month of March, which sets us up for a busy month of April with 5 games to play. You'll have to let me know in the comments below which of these games you would like to be featured. We play Inter Miami twice, one in the US Open Cup and once in the league. And we also face New York City FC, Charlotte FC, and again Toronto. So be sure to let me know which of those you would like to see as the featured game, and we will play that in full in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.